everyone. I'm John Evans. Welcome to another episode of One-on-One. This is the first of two back-to-back episodes that center on an independent film shot recently in southeastern North Carolina called Drought. If you haven't seen it, you need to. It's streaming right now on Amazon Prime. My guests this week are two brothers, Drew and Owen Scheid, who live here in Wilmington. Now, they don't play brothers in the movie. Owen plays Carl, a young man on the autism spectrum who predicts that a storm is going to hit southeastern North Carolina and relieve the drought conditions the area is suffering from. Drew plays Lewis, a friend of Carl's family who joins Carl and his two siblings as they go chasing after that thunderstorm. Hannah Black and Megan Peterson, who wrote and co-directed the movie, play Carl's two sisters, Sam and Lillian. Drew has a lot of experience as an actor. He's been on big budget projects, movies, and TV episodes, but this is Owen's film debut. We'll talk to both of the brothers about what they took away from this project, the message the movie conveys, and what it was like to work together for the very first time. Drew and Owen Scheid, the stars of the award-winning independent film Drought. Boys, thanks for being on the One-on-One with John Evans podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
What is it about Drought that drew you into it, Drew? What did you learn about, and what about the project drew you to it?
I heard about it first actually because I knew Megan and Hannah from we both took classes and then Megan worked there at Actors Arsenal here in Wilmington, and they were telling me like we're like filming a short, like we're writing together outside of class, and we're working on a short film together. And then they told me when they submitted it to this to the Seed and Spark project that the Duplosses were sponsoring. And once they told me that they were like in the running, I was like, whoa, this sounds like very cool. And they told me the plot, I was like, this is just, and I even told them like early on, I was like, I'll do, if you need catering, if you need like someone to just move stuff from one location to another, like I'm I'd love to just be somewhere in this project, do something with it. And that immediately, and just their drive really of just like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get our friends together and we're gonna make a movie here.
Because it's different than many of the things that you've been involved in. And I'm going to talk about some of them, the NCIS and even Stranger Things and Halloween. Those are, fairly big budget, established, run like clockwork. But this is a different kind of animal that I think you probably had to get more involved in than just being an actor.
Yeah, we definitely had to I'd say, Owen, you almost did more jobs on the, you were good about, you did some continuity check, on the movie. You were script supervising, well, we did that, you held that in your left hand when we did that time. And it definitely, it was very cool to be part of a thing that was there was 20, under 30 people in the crew, in total, around there, 30, and so it was it wasn't like on a big feature or something. It's like there are so many people. There's 100 people in front of the behind the camera in front of it. In the offices there's accountant offices. There's all these people that you don't even get to. Oh, there's this whole department I didn't even get to meet on this project. Yeah. Where here it was we're all here. We're all doing one thing. We all know each other, and we're all gonna work together.
Owen, what was it like for you to be involved and to have Drew there as well? He's been doing this for a while, but what was it like for you to be involved in the whole project, really for the first time to be involved in something like this?
Well, I thought it was an incredible experience. I thought, and Drew being there, of course, that really helped to kind of ease better. I've always been interested in both movies, and I think the opportunity came up. I think that was I said, yeah, maybe I should kind of look into it. I think Drew gave me the script. He told me about it, and I thought it was really interesting. I loved the story. I thought sort of a powerful message about acceptance and everything. And then even before the audition, I saw the pitch video and everything, and read it, and I thought, yeah, I felt like there's great people behind this. I felt going in, I think yeah, I learned a lot from the experience, of course, and yeah, I think it was like great time. I think I learned a lot. It was really helpful.
Had you been to the set before? Had you visited places where he had been before?
No, not really. That was
Oh, so this is really a first time in many ways.
yeah, but
Yeah, right. First set, first like even because you had taken like you've taken like theater class,
Yeah.
acting classes and improv classes,
oh,
but nothing really for like the screen specific, right? Yeah.
not really.
All right, Drew, I'm going to put it on you now. What was it like to have Owen there, and him be such a central character to the entire story?
Well, one, he was such a diva. No, I'm just kidding. He was great. He wanted green M&Ms. It was so fantastic. I mean, it was the best because there's a little nervous thing of like, oh, this is my brother, this is family. Are we gonna just revert back to being little kids and being brothers and stuff? But it was so fantastic to like have one of my best friends to be on a set with, to like get to just work with in general. Like that was so amazing. And then we both had like a lot of first times. Like that was like for Hannah and Megan to give me the gift of like that was one of my that was at that time that was the biggest, most full dimensional character I've gotten to play. So like I was also nervous about like I've never like done something like this. So I had Owen to lean on there, and then Owen, this was your first time on a movie set in general, so he leaned on me, and then we both got to. It was great having someone that I was that close to get to work on this project, like get to like talk it out and work through it.
It had to be really cool, aside of the whole family experience of having someone, obviously you love in a family member, but to see him grow and to see him
thrive and like we would joke, we were like jealous. We were like me, Megan, and Hannah would be like, man, we've been taking classes and doing this forever, and Owen just came on and is just like doing stuff that we're like, wow, this is gonna be good. This is gonna look good later. And it was so. And now we have this awesome, like, we say it's the best like home movie we could ever ask for. Like just plug it on, just be like, oh my gosh, yeah, remember that time we were in an ice cream truck? We drove across North Carolina. There it is.
Yeah. How much did it mean to you, Owen, to get the opportunity rather than them have somebody who's not autistic play a role of someone who is?
Well, I think that decision to like cast an autistic person, I think that was very like important as like good representation. I felt I kind of felt that I kind of being the role that kind of brought some authenticity to the parts. Initially kind of going in, I wasn't really open about me being autistic. I just didn't know about for too long at that point. And I kind of like going in, I didn't really say anything we didn't really talk about, because I guess it was kind of naturally assumed I kind of played, and again in the end it kind of came out as just like being myself. I think that kind of came across. I think something that's
yeah, you didn't like play it up or play it or like.
Initially, I thought I probably should have. I had to, but then like eventually, it's
like in past movies, right?
Yeah,
where you
that
see it in movies.
like that's kind of usually what works. So yeah.
Are you different now then? I mean, did it do something for you personally to have this professional role?
I think going, I kind of got to feel. I think like sometimes I learn a little bit about acting. I think sometimes kind of, in some ways it's being yourself, but also kind of pretty much taking what you are and then kind of adjusting to a certain situation. In some ways, I think some way that's what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen him change, Drew, since the role and afterwards?
I mean, yeah, I think so. We both definitely. I mean, how do you feel like? Do you feel? I definitely, for me, doing this project, like it was like this was something great that I've always dreamed about doing in one day, and like it never seemed like an actual. It's one of those things. It's like, well, I don't. That's just so exciting. I don't want to think about it too much because I don't know if that'll happen. Where it's like now that we've had like a taste of it, it's like, oh, we could maybe do this again, right? Do you feel that way? Like,
yeah, maybe sometimes. I guess for the most part, actually, I didn't really feel like too much a chance. Kind of, I guess like we did that, and that's definitely kind of like so it's out there. I think, yeah, I think in some ways, it has changed. I think a lot, and then because we had that under the belt, and then other ways, that kind of stuff are kind of. But that's good too.
Nice. It wasn't an easy project, though. Hurricane Florence came knocking, and
Right in the middle, right? It ruined the rap party.
and there was momentum. Again, doing some research, I read they talked about the momentum that they had, and really Hurricane Florence just kind of brought that to a halt. Was it tough to bring it back again?
Oh man, right? Like that was, it kind of blew, it didn't blow the wind because we were still so excited about it, but it was like, what was it? Was it a month or 2 months?
Like close to 2 months.
Two
Yeah, it was
months.
a better part of like 45 days or something, she said,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's
definitely a different like mood going on. I think when we came back.
When we came back, it was both like an excited we're all back, but also like we all knew like the time crunch of like, well, we only have this. We got to get back to where we were then. Owen, you were great about that's where your script supervision came in, where you were like, like you were good about remembering, like, we came back to the hotel like 2 months later, and then it's like, I was holding whatever, like a bag or something on my right shoulder. And then you remember, like, it's actually on the left shoulder when we were coming in. So you can't, or like, oh, we were wearing this, and that. And you were great about remembering from 2 months ago. And to get back to that emotion, I had cut my hair, actually. I had a role where I had to cut my hair. So I was in there's some shots where you can kind of, there's a little, I have like extensions and stuff to try to match my.
Really? You had to put extensions in?
You can't tell. You can't tell, really. You kind of, for some little scenes, but yes, but we had to get back because I had to get my hair cut.
I actually get my hair cut too, like just to get like exactly like back where it was like in August, like kind of still looked like for continuity purposes, just like kind of like a little trim, just so like it didn't look any longer than.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny that you had to do that. What was it like riding in an ice cream truck in 105-degree temperatures with no air conditioning?
Just that. It was
Exactly.
It's as fun as it sounds, but there's no. Actually, it would sound a lot funner if there was Choco Tacos or actual popsicle sticks in the cream. All it was, there was one old can of boiled peanuts that we didn't dare to open because it looked like it had been in there since the 90s.
So thank God for the pants, man, for me.
Yes, our grandma got us for pre-production to help with the project. She got the 4 of us tiny little plastic personal fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we had those.
So I pretty much had that on all the time in between takes, pretty constantly.
Yeah, cut, boom, we all pull. Oh my gosh, and everyone's batting. Da, 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 da. Okay, we're about to go. Tuck them back, and action.
And you guys were in some of the hottest areas in North Carolina. I remember I was at, we did a remote location in Fair Bluff, and it was 100 degrees, and there's no wind, there's no breeze in some of those communities.
No.
When you go inland to the Garlands, and when you go inland to some of those Sampson County locations, you don't get a breeze.
No. Nothing. No clouds, no breeze.
No, it is just the air just sits there.
Hot summer, sticky sun out there. It was great. Nice long road.
Yeah, that has got to be. And now, Drew, not everybody gets to fart in a movie. You did. Every day, I thank everything for that. I got to have a great on-screen fart. It is definitely our older brother's favorite part. Definitely our. That was so much fun. Was that an ad lib or was that actually in the script? I wish I was that funny that I could ad lib or that I would have a time to ad lib fart. Oh gosh, I wish, and surprise everyone. I think that was Robin, our one of the grips. Was that Robin behind the camera doing like a big raspberry?
Yeah, bro.
I think so.
That was funny. It broke me up because you have this real soft. You're both showing your personality to each other.
Yeah,
it's been a tough day.
Layers, and then I cut it with cut in the cheese.
You roll over, and the next thing you know, and then it just like takes the scene to a new direction. Was there any ad-libbing that was left in?
Yeah, actually, a pretty decent amount, right? Like,
Yeah, the different stuff. Like, I know one scene when I arrived at the motel, there's kind of like someone playing around with like the
yeah, we
or
were
some
like
of that, some
dancing
of the stuff they
around.
did, like that was kind of some outlets in there.
You when you ring that
Yeah,
bell, that was
was
just the
definitely kind of
camera kept going.
yeah, that even some other stuff like in that scene in Whaley's when like Hannah, like Sam says I can go to the store. The little hug I did before I left, that was kind of just in the moment. I was like.
Mm-hmm.
Like different stuff.
They were so nice
the
about
gazebo scene. That was all.
the gazebo scene. Yeah, we're at the restaurant out, and we got to. They were so nice about just like we would do takes like as it was written, and then we would just do some looser, just like feel it out, and let the camera go a little longer or start a little earlier, just for like some character moments, so we could just kind of be lived in as Carl and Lewis. And Sam and Hannah, and we got to. They were very nice about like letting us say the thing that made the most sense to us to like convey, talk, say this how Lewis would say, how you think, he was, and a lot of fun stuff kept in there. I think it was that's still in the cut where I have the little the Funyun eyes, right? That was great. That was a real moment. I was trying to make him laugh, and then everyone was not giving. I was like, oh, okay.
That was because you were in the back with him in the back of the ice cream truck.
Then I turned down the Funyun eyes. That was great. They kept that in. Yeah, a lot of great. Yeah, that's my favorite when we get to the motel and then you ring the bell.
Owen, how much of the character was acting and how much of it was you?
Well, I think for starters, I think Carl's a lot more into weather than I am. That's I think I like Carl. I have other things I'm passionate about, so I guess kind of in some way just replace weather with that. And then I think I kind of most ways I kind of felt like I was kind of just like I said, I guess kind of more so like portraying myself, but also portraying this character in the moment. I think in some ways I kind of had to kind of think about what I do right here, and then I think that was definitely.
Would it be like when like if was it like here's the situation Carl's has to go through right now? Would you just then stop and think like, okay, how would I really react?
Yeah, I was going to say, did you put real life into it? I mean, because and Drew, you could tell me when you're given a role, do you have to? You don't necessarily think how Drew would do this. You want to think how the character would. But since Owen is really dealing with some of the issues that the character deals with, I imagine he was a lot easier to go off real life experiences than maybe one of your characters would.
Did you do that? Did you bring in like real life?
Yeah, I think I mean in some cases, yeah, kind of like that kind of show emotions, how I feel in that stuff. I think maybe I think Carl does kind of, and Carl that he kind of pretty much lived with autism his whole life, so I think he kind of a little bit more like familiar with it. I think in some ways, but I mean I have too, but not that I knew about, but I think that kind of I think kind of helped me kind of be more accepting of it to myself too, because I was kind of a little quiet about it before that. I didn't really know how to deal with it. When I found out, I think that kind of definitely helped the whole experience kind of be more accepting to it for myself.
Nice. Owen, when you read reviews that say the film's real revelation is Owen Scheid, the young actor with autism making his feature film debut, Richard Probst of the independentcritic.com wrote that. What goes through your mind?
Well, I guess usually when I hear, I guess I kind of feel a little embarrassed when I say it. Kind of gotta say well, I really sometimes feel like, oh wait, maybe am I really that good, or am I seeing something that they don't? I feel kind of maybe imposter sometimes, okay, maybe I was just doing that, and then I think I don't know if maybe sometimes I guess I didn't think I was that good, maybe they seen something I'm not, and then maybe I'm maybe I feel like sometimes I don't really deserve to be that good, when they say maybe am I really. That's kind of the thoughts that usually come when that kind of comes up.
Drew, when you hear something like that about Owen, what goes through your mind?
I think I totally your feelings are very valid. It's hard to when someone's like, you're very good at this. It's hard to be like, yeah, I agree with you, because it's it doesn't feel like that. And sometimes the best things you do, you feel like it's well, I only spent I always feel like that, with my comedian friends, who do stand up in town, they're always I worked on, 30 days on this joke. This I spent, in different clubs. And then I wrote this in 5 seconds. I'm like, that's the funniest thing you've ever said. And they're like, really? I didn't even try on. I was just kind of doing it. It was my first time doing it.
I guess they like sometimes too. I say like you were saying, kind of like how I make him feel since my first day, and kind of made you feel like a worker. Like, so like, why should I like have all this praise
on the first time?
Yeah, on the first time. Like,
it feels like that.
Like, is that kind of like to kind of put out mantle this early? Like, should I really be up there when you kind of, I guess you had like a little more experience and kind of like
that happens to people on the first one. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, Drew, I mean, some of the stories that I may have done, people will say that's one of the best things I've ever seen, and it took me an hour to put it together, whereas one I've had for days and did dissolves and put music behind it and everything else like that. They're like, yeah, good. You know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah, they go their own, okay, I'll put it up. And you're like, but I cleared music. I did so much research.
There's dissolves in here. I flip things around. I've got all this stuff. I put my heart and soul into it. And good job, John. See you tomorrow. Drew, when you're in some of the high-profile things that you're in, like Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet or NCIS with Scott Bakula, do you take things away from those projects?
Oh, yeah, I try. I try as much to, like, whenever I'm on set, just like, I try to talk to everyone, get stories from it, because the best part about, like, a set like that is, crews are usually like, grips or camera people are usually like, I've worked on, thousands of things. So you can talk to them about like, what was, this project like on NCIS, a couple of the camera people worked on like they filmed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies in Atlanta. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like they were wearing a shirt from the crew, like cast and crew. And I was like, let's talk about this. And I just like bothered them or, just watch what I like to just sit and watch like people setting up shots and figuring out like what is so that makes that effect, and then you look at try to sneak a look on the monitor, like and it looks like that, and I tried, and especially like there was one great day on. I mean, there's a bunch of amazing days on the Mayor of Easttown set, but there's one day especially that's in a later episode where I got to watch Kate Winslet and Gowrie Rice do a scene together. That was and like I just got to spend basically an entire day watching them do this scene on a monitor, and I was like, it was just like a masterclass in acting and just being that kind of. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's like it was a very emotional scene, and just getting to watch that, you just start to kind of things start clicking like, she's doing that because of that and this and that. Oh, look at how she was preparing, before she walked on, how she like, once they call cut, like she still stays in it for minutes, depending as long as she needs to. And then her getting ready to reset, just like getting to watch that is just like fantastic. And then same with Scott Bakula on NCIS. He was a masterclass on how to be an actor on television, and like just like truly learned so much from him. And that was like, getting to have that much time with him, playing his son. I got to have a nice amount of time with him. So you
were, I mean, inside a car, that to me, and I've been keeping track of the things that you've done for a long time, but that to me would almost seem like the most serious role that you've had.
Yeah.
You pointed a gun, you threatened to kill somebody, you were in the car with him, it was a heavy role. And as I was like, I'm wondering how Drew is playing this, because, you played the teenager, the band in Mayor of Easttown, you played Halloween.
Guys. Yeah. Connor's going through some stuff.
Yeah, but I was just wondering how big a transition that one was for you.
It felt very cool. One, just being like, like someone taking a chance and being like, do you want to play like a person who's going through so much like emotional strife of like, and someone who's desperately searching for a family. Like that's Connor. That's my one goal is like, I just want a family, but I don't know how to deal with it. I'm so blinded by anger because of, I feel that Scott has betrayed me, and like, and what I do, like I work with an acting teacher and we just sort of like, I just imagine, what it, it sounds lame, but it's just like, you just sort of imagine what it's like to be this person, and then you do with as much information as given to you, and then you just kind of sit and you dream and meditate about all the different possibilities, what my goals are, what my past was, and sometimes you try to bring, if something is one-to-one, like, oh, I've had a situation like this in my real life, it's fun to try to bring that in and see if it can equate, and then mostly on that set, like, I try to get really geared up, but mostly just like, and then that's something Scott said, just like, you just prepare as much as you can, spend a lot of time doing it, and then show up open book. Like, then just like be loosey-goosey, like, what is Scott going to bring me? What is the director going to say? What is this person? Maybe someone in costume says something, maybe someone here, and you just bring all that. Be open and flexible, but show up extra prepared.
And so do you think then you can help when you're going on with somebody else who's new, maybe like Owen, and having those opportunities, you can take some of that stuff you've learned and almost transfer it to him and be the veteran in that relationship?
Right.
Whether it be Owen or somebody else, you can take it from what you've learned. Yeah.
On some of the stuff I got to learn from some of these great actors. Yeah, just getting to watch people has been unreal. Some of these people, and on NCIS, especially, I get to work, like Jason. I get to work with this guy, Jason Allen Carvel, who plays Scott's brother, and we have some awesome. Callie Thorne, who's a great actor, and Joanna Cassidy, who I'm a big fan of, going in from Roger Rabbit, and she plays my grandma.
Yeah.
And getting to watch like people like that and hearing stories, just like really. So I hope I'm clearly passing it on. I'm not like excited like they said this and that and oh.
Because it's different when you look at the level of in Drought and the level in NCIS, and then in Stranger Things, which, by the way, I loved. I thought it was one of the best things. You were drunk teen and sweaty boy.
Sweaty boy.
So it's amazing how in 3 or 4 years, how much, you got roles that are meaty versus drunk teen and sweaty boy.
I feel very lucky that it has progressed that way. I would have been fine doing drunk teens forever, as long as they'll have me.
When did you get the acting bug?
Oh, I was always a little scamp running around, like just being loud and needing attention. And but our parents early on were very nice and thoughtful, and were like, we're gonna put you in acting classes and like little community stuff. And we grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and so we would do some local theater camps out there. And then also our grandfather was a TV and radio personality
in Philly,
in Philadelphia, yes, in the Philadelphia area. He was he had a children's variety show where he would he would host and do games in between Ultramans and Spider-Mans and Looney Tunes and stuff. And they cut back to him, and he would present the next thing, and he worked in radio up until he passed, and he loved it. And so seeing something like
so it was handed down. What about you, Owen? When did you get the desire to want to act?
Well, I think I've always loved movies and television. I think I kind of went to like the acting class. I think those like really helped. I got interested. I think kind of like progressed in them. I think I learned a lot, and that kind of really helped. I think I thought like I saw like pretty early. I think so like around the same time.
Yeah, same time. We both were always running around.
Did you do anything at New Hanover High School? Did you do any plays or anything at New Hanover High when you went there?
Oh well, I was a senior. They did the production of Fame, and I was part of that. I was like one of the background dancer people.
In the ensemble of Fame. That was fun. Yeah. They did that at the.
Yeah, that was like after I filmed Drought. I was like, what?
That was after. You're right, because you were still a senior.
Yeah.
That was you. It was your fall semester. You did Drought. You like left for a bunch of days. I forgot about that. I forgot you were still in high school. Yeah.
Because I've done one of the best things that I've done every year, and we haven't done it the past couple of years because of the pandemic, is Best Foot Forward. When all the different schools have presentations, and whether it's a chorus or a different act. And it's fun for me to see kids in elementary and middle and high schools out there performing, and I didn't know if you had any chance at actually doing stuff when you were in your high school or not.
Did you do one of those for New Hanover?
Was I guess I guess I took like the acting classes there too. I guess was part of the choir. I guess at 1 year, and then I also took like at the what's the place called? The other place the
Oh, Ashley?
no like
or
the,
no?
Well, I guess yeah, I took those two, and then it was like the one downtown, the acting school.
Oh yeah, it was the Thalian.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah,
Thalian.
Thalian
Took
acting
a
class.
couple things there.
I always tell people, as I was MC off the side of the stage, the one thing that I always found so cool, especially with the elementary school kids, they'd be stomping around and they'd be doing their act and they'd be kicking, and you could see them counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then when they get done, they go like, they stop, and then there's about a millisecond when they're waiting to see what the audience is going to do, and they're like, were we any good? And then the audience starts clapping, and then the faces just bloom.
Yeah.
And you can't put, I haven't found the word for it yet, but that's millisecond, and then the face is just precious. And I've never found the right words for that, but it's the audience just saying thank you that I've
It's
never.
that gratification immediately, and you can feel it. You get in your whole body, just like, wow, they clapped for me. I tapped enough, and they loved it.
Yeah, especially with the youngest ones in elementary school. Those are the ones that you just saw the joy come out when that happens. I know you still get that when somebody says good job with a take or something, but especially it's gratifying when somebody else really appreciates your work.
And on stage especially. Oh yeah, like to that immediate gratification we used to do and probably now that's opening back up, and Dead Crow even just posted, but we would do the open mics at Dead Crow back before the pandemic. We would just go down and come with our friends, and you were better. I kind of Amy from Dead Crow forced you into getting up. She kind of, because you would come with me, and then Amy one day was like, when are you getting up? And what did you say? You're just like,
okay, yeah, I'll be on next week.
She's like, good, you better be up next week then. And then you did.
And now that's a completely different level of something, because that's all, most of the time, in a lot of instances, that's ad-libbing, or if you got to pull something out of your back pocket you haven't tried before. That's truly being out there in the middle of nowhere.
And it's like the stuff you wrote, so it's the most. It's like the most hurtful, not hurtful rejection, but just kind of like, it's so earnest and like, here's something I thought of that's funny, and I'm going to present it to you guys. Do you also think it's funny? And then everyone's like, no. And then it feels bad. And you're like, oh, but I thought you would.
How do you make sure you're getting better, Drew?
Oh, yeah. You just got to keep going and keep doing it. There's always stuff to learn. There's so much, like, I don't think they'll ever feel, once I also stopped thinking of it as like a ladder of like, oh, you got to go up, and then you get this step, then you're good. Then you get this step, then you're good. Then you get this step. It's more of like a weird pictograph, like random, just like big 4-axis like graphs, and you just got to keep growing as an actor and just keep doing it, and like and doing like exercises and keep learning and keep, I don't want to say it's like a muscle, but it almost is like a, when you don't do it for a while, you lose sort of how you lose your processes, and you lose your train of thought when learning. Even just like the basic like muscle of memorization is kind of like a muscle in your brain that if you don't have an audition for a while, it's good to just keep I don't know, like memorize sections of plays, or memorize soliloquies in other things. And but yeah, just how you get better, you just got to keep doing it, I think. I think as long as you're doing it, you're hopefully doing it.
I just didn't know if you work regularly with coaches, or if you sit down and watch the takes of yourself and learn what was good, what was not, or what people take away from it. Obviously there's consultants that come in to newsrooms all the time, and the one thing I always say about consultants is they're paid to find something wrong, so they're going to find something wrong.
They're going to find, yeah, they're going to be sure.
But it's the ones that can give you the real constructive criticism and stuff you can take away from it that I feel are the most valuable. And I'm wondering if you work with those kind of coaches all the time too.
I have a great coach, Joe Anthony, who's out of L.A. Also, actually, he's originally from Philly, but he's been in L.A. for a number of years. And we've been doing like online sessions ever since the pandemic, and he's been helping me. And we either go through a play, or if I have an audition, he helps me with those. And yeah, I exactly what you said, like the constructive, not someone to be like, this is wrong, but like, here's what you did. Let's talk about it. Let's see, what was your train of thinking when you were doing that? Great. Oh, okay. Well, think about this now. Or here's that. Here's how we can just continually get better.
All right, Owen, what's your next project? What are you working on now? Where are we going to see you again?
Well, I don't have anything come up yet, but right now I'm kind of going to UNCW. I'm in the film program. I just finished my sophomore year the other week, and as I'm
2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days ago you finished sophomore year.
And yes, I guess I'll be back on campus this fall and taking more film classes, and we'll see what goes from there.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do more on-screen, Owen, or do you want to do behind-the-scenes stuff?
Oh, I think I would enjoy acting. I think if the opportunity comes out, I'd like to continue that, but I also kind of feel a little interested in editing. See how I'm doing that.
Drew, you're working on a fairly regular basis now. Is it full-time for you now? Is it to the point now where you're full-time into it and you have enough work that you can make a living out of it now?
I think so. I would definitely like to keep on the job. I've been lucky that I've been getting, and this past year getting to live with my parents and everything, and all their support. I feel very lucky to have that. But I would hopefully, yes, like to keep it going. I as long as that's been just as long as they'll all have me in things, I would like to keep being in things.
And what would you like to do long term? You like the on-screen stuff, or do you have an itch to direct, or an itch to produce, or to write?
I would always like to be on screen. If that would be fantastic. And I've been thinking about like doing more, like just now, like in after all my friends getting vaccinated and everything, and us being like getting to help produce things. It's like I want to help make things with friends, or help people I think are very creative, and to like actualizing a thing. I at the moment don't have anything particular that I'm like, this is the story I want to tell. Like I don't have one of those right now. Hopefully I find one. That'd be cool. But right now it's like, what story do you have to tell? Great. I would like to help you do that.
How much were Megan and Hannah an inspiration to you guys to maybe continue to do maybe indie films and stuff of that nature?
Gosh, that'd be so cool to get to do something. I mean, they also like make it, they make it look so easy. They got there, and then they made something really beautiful, and it's like, it's so cool getting to see someone that get to make a realized cool, inspiring project like that. And we watched them how we watched them do it, and I still am like, how did they do that? Like I don't even feel like I have a step one. How did they even? That was incredible.
Yeah.
So
it's something to be very proud of, and like I said, I thought both of you did tremendous jobs with the characters and being a part of that movie. I know it's special. You said it's kind of like a home movie for you, but I know it's got a lot of really great messages to it, like I told you before. I think it's a pretty special piece of film work.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Well, guys, thank you. I've wanted to do this for a long time. I've wanted to get you guys on here. And Drew, I've followed your work for a long time. And Owen, I just think you had a spectacular debut. And I hope continued success to both of you. And now that you're in Wilmington, let's not be strangers. Let's check in when we have more projects.
Exactly. Definitely.
A big thank you to Drew and Owen Scheid for taking time from their schedule and joining us for this week's podcast. If you want to follow what the guys are up to, the best way to find out is to follow them both on Instagram. Now, next time in part 2, we'll be joined by Hannah Black and Megan Peterson, who wrote the film, co-directed it, and also starred in it. We'll talk about their vision for Drought, the problems they had to overcome while doing it, and the satisfaction of seeing it through. That's on the next One-on-One with John Evans podcast. Now, before we go, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please download and subscribe to the One-on-One with John Evans podcast on whatever app you use to listen to your favorite shows. And if you would be so kind, please leave us a rating or a review. They go a long way in boosting our rankings on the apps and helping us bring in even more new listeners. I'm John Evans. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of One-on-One.